Like the song does start with fear and you questioning it, but by the end and April comes in, the song kind of ends with this human being reassuring you that no matter what your baggage is, they're there to carry it with you.
Yeah. He played the role of the perfect, you know what I mean? Kind of like dream reaction to a fear like that being expressed.
Reality, right?
Yeah, I kind of gave him a little sum up of my, you know, we caught up for a while and talked about life and everything. And he kind of, I think, wrote his verse from a perspective of like a person that would be filling, you know, certain shoes and what I've heard that has felt nice. You know, it's nice. I think he did a great, phenomenal job writing that.
Is it hard to put that into a song? Like, how'd you know
Yeah.
you were ready?
I didn't know anyone was ever going to hear it. So I just kind of was sitting in my room. It was during quarantine and towards the very beginning. And I just had set up my little home situation. And a friend of Matt Bennett's, Shintaro, had sent me a little folder of beats. And he's amazing, by the way. He worked at the Apple Store, at the Genius Bar, I think, or I think he was giving lessons on how to work, like make beats and stuff.
Cool.
Like I think he was the guy that like you go into the Apple Store and be like, oh, I want to make something that sounds like Robin Thicke, and then he'd like show you how to make something that sounds like that. And but yeah, he's a really brilliant producer, and he sent me a pack of beats and I pulled it up and I wrote a verse and a chorus and I sent it over to Abel and I said, is this okay? And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna write the second verse. And I was like, okay. And so that was just how it felt, and it was just a very intimate moment and writing process between two friends.
Does a song like that only happen after being alone with yourself for quite some time? Because it is it's very reflective. No, like if you weren't going through it in that moment, you're thinking back. Or
I think there's always a feeling at the beginning of creating something where you're like, is this for me or is this for people? And this was one that I think was kind of on the line. I didn't know, but then it felt really beautiful. And my mom's reaction to it was really beautiful. That made me very emotional. And I felt like it was the perfect kind of centerpiece in a way to the album, because it does, again, make every other song on the album make so much more sense. It's like, okay, we start here and we start with a crush and you start with the fun sex and the, ooh, what's your motive? What's your, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then it gets to this real point where you're like, oh, wow, I could be falling in love with someone. Is that even an option for me?
You? Yeah.
Yeah. And then you go into, I think 6:30 is next. And you're like, well, are you down? What if I lose my, what if I'm old and crazy? And then you go into Safety Net and you're like, oh, here we go. I'm really here falling for real. This is happening again. I didn't think it could, and it is. And then, you know, and then it's like, I think it's a pivotal point on it. I think, I don't know.
It is a huge moment in the overall story that you're telling. Do you know what that story is? And do you realize that story only after the album's done?
Oh no. I mean, of course it's nice to see it come together and make sense for strangers or for other people listening or for people who aren't living through these experiences. But to me, it's clear because I'm making songs that are coming from a real place. And, you know, I'll be like, you know, it's like, that's the process. I wouldn't, you know, it's like, I could sit here and you could give me a word and I can try to make a song about a word, but it's not going to be as good as if I sit here and I make a song about some real thought that I had, you know?
Wow. The strings on this record, it hit me. And I think Off the Table and Myron are actually connected in some weird way. Did you hear the song?
Myron was sitting underneath my feet when I wrote that. So yeah. Yeah, he doesn't leave me alone much, but I think he loves that song. I think he also loves chewing my headphones and sitting right next to me as I'm working. And yeah, he's a little angel. He doesn't leave me alone much. I'll go to like brush my teeth first thing in the morning and he'll come with me and sit under the sink and like look up at me. It's very sweet.
Oh, and
a little angel.